This is a 2019 Mercedes AMG E53, and it is Mercedes' direct competitor for cars like the M550i and the Audi S7 and S6. And today, I'm going to be showing you why this is a bang for your buck in 2023. I'm Aiden, and you're watching God Next. Now, on the outside of the E53 AMG, it's not very different looking than a typical E300, and I guess that's what my problem is with these midline AMG sport cars, the ones that aren't true AMGs, is they don't look different enough to, I think, justify their new value price tag, but used, it's not too bad. The outside is finished in obsidian black metallic. You have your AMG badge in the grille with the hexagonal badge design for those midline AMG tiers, LED headlights, and Mercedes has even added these fake vents to make it look more sporty. Now, this is an interesting motor in the E53. It's powered by a 3-liter inline-six, but it's supercharged and turbocharged, and it has an AC motor paired to it that comes out to a total power output of 429 horsepower and 384 pound-feet of torque. I've never seen something from Mercedes like this, but it is a really interesting motor, and it is pretty punchy. It's made it to a 9-speed automatic transmission exclusively used in Mercedes vehicles. But yes, like I said, very punchy, and I think it suits this car very well, even though it's not a V8. Now, on the side of the E53, not much to look at over here, but there are some things I should point out. You have your turbo badge and your 4MATIC Plus badge. This is all-wheel drive. You have these 19-inch 5-spoke AMG rims with the AMG brake calipers. And moving towards the back, you know, not much is different. This is my problem with these middle line Mercedes. Like, no one's going to be able to tell this is an AMG vehicle. And when people do find out that it's an AMG vehicle, I feel like they're going to make fun of you because you didn't buy the E63. Now, as for the brakes on the E53, up front you have 14.6-inch drilled and vented rotors, and in the back you have 14.2-inch rotors that are also vented. As for suspension on the E53, you do get adjustable suspension feelings based on the drive mode that you're in, which is nice that they add that to the midline AMG models as well. Now, on the back of the E53, I think this is where Mercedes has made this more aggressive compared to the E300 the most. You have these quad exhaust pipes back here, but in reality, if you stick your finger in there, there's actually one exhaust pipe that leads out to these fake quad exhaust. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It makes it look more aggressive, but still, it's not real. Back here, you also have these more aggressive rear valence, and you have the E53 badge and your AMG badge on either side, but it's not like they've made the rear fenders any wider or anything like that. You do get this spoiler, though, that adds a bit more of an aggressive undertone to the car. As for that exhaust, let's take a listen to what that inline-six sounds like. All right, on the interior of the E53, it's a nice place to be. It's generally just like an E-Class. You have this nice wood grain for the inlays and these nice seats. This is the MB Tex, which is their synthetic leather, but it also has these Alcantara, their Dynamica inlays with the red stitching. I think they look pretty cool, and it's a lot better than the BMW Sensatec, which feels like absolute garbage. The MB Tex actually feels nice and high quality, so that's a plus. You have soft touch materials just about everywhere, all the way around the console, on the dash, on the lower part of the doors. It's a nice place. You have a bunch of ambient lighting in here, even to light up this interior on the darkest of nights. A lot of ambient lighting. And most of your switches are actually metallic, which I can't say about all of the German cars. It's a nice place to be, with a lot of tiny little things Mercedes has done to make it feel like a more luxury-oriented experience. The thing I do have a problem with is, though it looks nice and there are things that feel nice, the quality of some of the parts in here aren't as nice as BMW and Audi. The door panels just creak and feel kind of flimsy. But other than that, I mean, it's not like it's as bad as something like getting in a Toyota when it comes to how good it feels when it concerns build quality, but it is not BMW or Audi level of nice. What I do love is this infotainment and gauge cluster. I've always loved this split screen design that they got going on here. This started in the S-Class in 2014, and it's made its way over into the E-Class over the years. This This is a 2019 model. The current outgoing E53, or E-Class in general, has the same design. The steering wheel is different. This is really the only different part of the new ones compared to this. And even then, I really like this steering wheel. You have the AMG logo, the perforated leather, and the red stitching in this little red thing at the top to indicate where the top of the steering wheel is. So as for your gauge cluster, it's very configurable. You can show your boost, you can show how much power you're making, what mode you're in, and you even have a G-force meter. And then on the other side, you can also configure it to show things like your navigation, your tire pressure. And then in the center of at least this gauge cluster, you have your tachometer and a speedometer. And you also have your EQ charge meter, which shows how your battery's being used with that AC power battery that's connected to the motor of the car. And as for the center screen, you don't get wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. In 2019 on the Audis and BMWs you did, but the Mercedes system was a little behind, and it's not super responsive, and it's not touchscreen like the BMWs and Audis are. So you're stuck with the wheel, and then you have this weird little touchpad that you can use. It's not bad, but it's not super intuitive at times. The wheel is nice, but it does feel a tad bit laggy. This one has the Burmester high-end surround system. I don't love it. A lot of the bass is centered towards your feet rather than in the seats. It's okay sounding when it comes to its midtones and treble, but for its bass, it's kind of lackluster. You do have a full-size moonroof that goes all the way to the back seats, and you do have a heads-up display, which is very configurable. You can configure the heads-up display to show your lap time, speedo, and the tachometer, or you could show it just the speed, and you can even set it to show navigation. As for some of the safety tech in this car, you do have a surround view camera system. Now, as for your drive modes in here, if you use this switch that says dynamic, you can switch in between Sport, Sport Plus, Comfort, Individual, and Eco. Individual is the configurable one. You have suspension settings, traction control button, and if you press this M button, well, you could switch it over to its manual transmission mode. Yeah, as for storage in here, you do have a good amount of connectivity, 2 USB Type A's and an SD card reader. Haven't seen those in a while. And if you open this, you have a place to store your phone, your key, and another USB Type A and 2 cup holders. And the glove box, of course, is a nice size. But yeah, great materials on the inside of this car. The steering wheel is nice and feels good. Nice place to put your arms and everything like that, and the seats are nice and cozy. Yeah, it's a great place to be. Now, like I said, the E53 you could buy for around $60,000 to $65,000 now. And that's about where you can buy a 2019 M550i. I think I would probably stick with the BMW, and the reason is you get a bigger engine, more power. Even though both of them are really nice cars when it comes to the luxury, you're going to get a lot more sporty performance out of the M550i than you are the E53. But if you are a Mercedes fan and just cannot stand owning or driving a BMW, this isn't a bad option, and I think the used values on these cars are pretty good for what you're getting out of it. Just don't go buy a new one because you might get screwed. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button down below, and if you want to see more from us, make sure you subscribe and check out the other videos on our channel, and I will see you all in the next video.